Tonight, the question is what's next after this chaotic scene at a political convention last night. This happened as people came together to decide who the DFL would endorse for the Minneapolis Ward 10 council seat. Just within the last 2 hours, candidate Nasri Warsame issued a statement regarding the incident. Tonight, Heidi Wigdahl has more on that, taking a closer look at what happened and what's next.
This is the moment when things took a turn at the Minneapolis DFL Ward 10 convention. But before this,
it was a more contentious convention than I'm used to. There was a lot of shouting, lots of yelling, cheering, booing, but it had no reason to think that it would lead to what happened in the afternoon.
John Edwards, editor and publisher of Wedge Live, captured this video. Current Minneapolis Council member Aisha Chugtai and challenger Nasri Warsame were both set to give speeches Saturday afternoon. Chugtai was up first, but when she came up on stage,
the Warsame campaign started jeering. Eventually they rushed towards the stage. From my perspective, I don't know what instigated it, other than the idea that based on what had happened in the morning, they thought they were losing and basically didn't like how the convention was going.
DFL Chairman Ken Martin said, quote, "It's clear that the conflict was instigated by supporters of City Council candidate Nasri Warsame."
Never seen anything and nothing like this.
Samuel Doughton is a longtime DFL party volunteer who served as chair of the convention.
One thing I want to be clear about is it was not everyone and not every supporter by any means of Nasri Warsame who instigated this behavior or participated in it, but it was perpetrated by quite a number of supporters.
In a statement, Warsame pushed back on the idea his campaign was solely to blame, adding, quote, "I do not condone violence and I do not condone yesterday's events." He went on to say, quote, "From the beginning, there were barriers and misunderstandings with the convention process that eventually led to yesterday's unfortunate events." Chugtai says more than a dozen of her supporters and DFL volunteers were physically assaulted, and in a statement called it, quote, "horrifying, unacceptable, and indicative of the growing threat to progressive, pro-people candidates and movement leaders."
I hope we make this right, and I haven't given up on democracy, and this kind of violence, it just has no place here.
I reached out to both candidates and have not heard back yet. MPD is investigating. They say one person was hurt and treated at the convention. Another was taken to the hospital for a medical condition. The convention ended with no endorsement, so right now it's unclear what happens next there. DFL Party Chairman Ken Martin says he's calling an emergency meeting on Thursday and will be proposing a bylaw to ban those who engage in violent assaults from the DFL party and, quote, will then take immediate action to remove the folks involved in Ward 10. Morgan.